Well, Ralph's story is really a fascinating one, and in many ways it's typical of upstate South Carolina. I'm Sadler Taylor. I'm the executive director of the South Carolina Military Museum. The contact that I had was with Alda Smith, who is the son of Ralph Smith, the subject. Alda's a musician. His three brothers are musicians, and in conversations with Alda, the question comes up, well, where did you learn? Is this a community-based music tradition? Who taught you how to play? Who taught you how to sing? And that's when he introduced me to Father Ralph as being the source of that musical kind of family tradition.
Anyway, that's Mom up here, and then she meets Dad, that's Dad, and it goes on around Dad's family and all, and this gives the entire genealogy.
He was one of many teenagers from that mill village environment in the upstate that were drafted. Hundreds of people just like Ralph were drafted in World War II. So he played music right up until the day he was drafted, and then he took his guitar with him, and that guitar pretty much traveled with him. He trained in San Antonio, Texas. He trained in California, and then shipped out to England. Guitar with him the whole way. Again, he wasn't the only one. He had folks that were with him, other soldiers that wrote songs. He was considered a prolific songwriter. He would write songs and put them to music. He would get song lyrics from fellow soldiers and put them to music. And so he documented this throughout his time in Europe. And he was in Europe for about 2 years, and then came back and then brought that music back with him. In fact, in San Antonio in school, he was such a well-regarded musician that the Army bought him a pedal steel and an amp, and he and other like-minded musician soldiers started a mess hall band and provided entertainment for the soldiers at the training post there in the mess hall. And then that music just followed him to England and to Europe. And these were the early days of blues. Western swing was real popular in the 1930s, and really that was the late 20s and the 30s and early 40s were kind of that window of time where he was learning these songs. A lot of them he heard on the radio. This is pre-television, so and then the old Victrola with the 78s. He was learning a lot from those two sources.
Not elementary, Evan Woodside talent show. And this one here was made in our bedroom at Piedmont. And that was one of the first times we were all playing together, all four of us.
Let me see if I remember. That's obviously you.
Yeah.
That's Ron. That's Warren.
No,
No, that's
Horace.
Warren. And that's Horace.
Yeah, you nailed it. And I'm probably playing the dobro sitting there. And that was Ronnie playing electric and the two with rhythm and guitar players.
I have heard of the land on the faraway strand. 'Tis a beauty.
We have the dobro that Ralph's children, Alda and his three brothers, bought for him in the 70s. He had really taken to the dobro, really enjoyed playing it, and the dobro is something of a lap steel instrument that you play horizontally on your lap like a pedal steel, but it's an acoustic instrument. Ralph really took to the dobro, so his four kids got him a dobro in the 70s. That instrument's in the exhibit.
Graphic design is extremely important in an exhibit space. It visually represents the theme of the story that the exhibit is going to present to the audience. And for A Soldier's Legacy, we looked at using the dobro instrument and the resonance chamber within that. And that aspect of the artifact really, to us, represented the theme of music resonating throughout the Smith family and all these generations that have come after Ralph.
But that was Dad's Martin guitar there. And of course the Army bought him this one and that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one that traveled with him through the war.
Martin guitar that Ralph and Alda's two other siblings purchased for his oldest brother, Warren, years ago. I think it was a 72 Martin guitar, but it's very similar to the one that Ralph carried with him when he was in service. But that guitar is long lost, but the Martin that we have on exhibit is the one that Alda's older brother played, and then Alda's older brother gave it back to Ralph when Ralph was getting up there in his years. So two key instruments that Ralph played throughout his life are in the exhibit. And what really impressed me about Alda was, he was a youngster in the 60s, and that's an invaluable resource to have those recordings from the 60s that Alda did, and that kind of started Alda's passion for his whole life. He's been documenting family history, whether it's oral interviews, photography.
Original tape that was recorded when I was 11 months old. It's a copy of the tape we went to Atlanta and got that gave us all the music that was on Dead CD from that era, 1955.
1955.
Yep.
Oh, good.
And
Put that with the reel-to-reel.
yeah,
And then his dad, Ralph, was also very interested in making recordings. We have several records in the exhibit that were made in the mid to late 40s that were done of Ralph performing at a popular night spot in Greenville. So these were pressed onto not really vinyl, more 78 type acetate, and then the recordings from the 60s are pretty good. They were made on reel-to-reel decks, and these two particular reel-to-reels that are in the exhibit were a part of the family's collection in the 60s. They would buy these reel-to-reel decks, and Alda says that one of them in particular, a Webcore, they used it so much that they wore it out and they had to get another one. So the one that's in the exhibit is the second one that the family purchased to do these home recordings.
name he brought him today. I wished I was a catfish and living in the sea. That's a pretty
Oh,
mama.
and he's got all this stuff. Texas. This is in Texas. It's the mess hall band. You can see the people out there. They would normally come through there and go through the mess, but they're entertaining. And this is his.
That's on the right shoulder. That indicates that was who he deployed with, and called Combat Patch.
Okay.
And over here, that's the 12th Armored Division.
Two before the war, 41, 42, and then 46 or 7.
So he kind of fused all these traditions: the balladry, the old time country that he was hearing in the community, the blues and the western swing from folks like Bob Wills. It was all over the radio. And
It was really neat to meet Alda and learn about his family history with music. As a musician and songwriter myself, it was a connection I hadn't really been able to develop with donors, and it was neat to just share his love of music over, a nice casual lunch and talk about how he got into it and what music means to him and how you just have to get it out sometimes. And so it's interesting for me personally, just putting that exhibit, the guitars and things in that exhibit, because it really had a personal touch that I hadn't experienced before.